Perfect. 911, where's your emergency?
I need help. There is
A husband, a live-in nanny, and a secret relationship that prosecutors said led to one of the most shocking double homicide cases in Northern Virginia. Inside a quiet family home, a wife was stabbed to death, and a man investigators say was lured there through a fake online profile was shot and killed. But what really happened inside that house would take years to unravel. On the morning of February 24, 2023, police in Fairfax County, Virginia were called to a quiet suburban home in Herndon. What they found inside was later described by authorities as an appalling scene.
Perfect. 911, where's your emergency?
I need help. There is my friend. She just was stuck in the night now. She's bleeding a lot. I don't know what to do anymore.
Okay, where are you located? What's your address?
Oh my God.
Take a deep breath for me. Just let me know your address. Okay, 13. Take a deep breath for me.
A respected nurse was critically injured. A man lay dead from gunshot wounds, and a 4-year-old child was found unharmed in the basement. At the center of it all were a husband, his wife, and the family's young nanny.
230 Stablebrook Way.
Okay, and what's your name and what's going on?
My name is Christine Banfield. I'm a federal agent. This is my house. There's somebody here. I shot him. But he stabbed her. She's bleeding. She got several marks on her neck. What do I do?
Okay.
Christine Banfield was 37 years old. She worked as an intensive care nurse at a suburban Virginia hospital, and was known for going far beyond that was required of her. Those who knew Christine described her as generous, thoughtful, and deeply committed to caring for others. Christine was married to Brendan Banfield. Brendan worked as a special agent in the criminal division of the Internal Revenue Service. Together, they had a young daughter named Valerie. Friends and neighbors described the Banfields as a devoted family. Christine was active in her community and frequently shared recommendations and advice in local neighborhood groups. In 2019, the family moved to Herndon, Virginia. A few years later, they decided to hire a live-in au pair to help care for their daughter. In 2021, the Banfields hired 22-year-old Juliana Peres from Brazil. Friends of Juliana later said she wanted to travel, improve her English, and had recently completed nursing classes. Living with a nurse, they said, felt like an ideal situation. By all outward appearances, everything seemed to be working well. But investigators would later allege that a secret relationship had begun between Juliana and Brendan. On the morning of February 24, 2023, Juliana Peres made 2 calls to 911. She reported a violent scene inside the Banfield home.
It's okay. Just breathe, okay? Okay, let's go up this way. So, hey, do you want to hang out with that officer right there?
What, back around front for me?
To take over. Good. Still breathing.
Sorry?
Still breathing.
Still breathing?
Hey,
Do you want me to put her to watch a show or something?
if you just want to tell me quickly what happened.
I don't know what happened. Everything happened too fast. I was going to take her to the zoo this morning.
Can you go with Officer Battani really
Why don't
quick?
you come with us?
Oh,
He has some stickers for you.
I was going to take her to the zoo this morning. And then I forgot the lunch we were gonna bring. I turned around and came back here. And then, I saw this car. This is her car. This car is the person, I guess.
You don't know who that? Do you know who the person is?
I have no idea. And then I saw his car, called her to see what's going on because it's early in the morning, like, who was here? And then he was straight to voicemail. I called Brendan, it's her husband, he's up there. I told him, I see a strange car, but I don't know who is that. Can you please come here? I'm scared. I was in the car. And then he came here, and then we went inside. The guy, I don't know who it is, he was spanking her. I was just here.
Were you here when it happened, or did you walk up in there and that's how they were?
Yeah, he went upstairs first, and then I went to see what is going on. I left the basement, and then when I went upstairs, Brendan was saying, "Police, drop the knife."
So,
And,
Brendan's a police officer.
yeah, he's an officer.
Is he with Fairfax?
No?
Where is he an officer?
I don't know. I think it's he was officer in Vienna.
Vienna?
Yeah.
Okay. 1 second.
When officers from the Fairfax County Police Department arrived, they went to a second-floor bedroom. There, they found Christine Banfield bleeding from severe stab wounds to her neck. She was unclothed except for her socks. Christine was rushed to the hospital, where she later died from her injuries. Nearby was the body of 39-year-old Joe Ryan. He had suffered gunshot wounds to his head and the chest. Police also found a bloody knife, 2 handguns, and sexual paraphernalia. The Banfield's 4-year-old daughter Valerie was found unarmed in the basement. According to investigators, Joe Ryan had arrived at the home that morning for what authorities described as a prearranged sexual encounter. Friends later described Ryan as eccentric but kind, someone who loved animals and often took in dogs that had little chance of being adopted. Juliana was taken in for questioning. During a lengthy interview with police, she admitted to shooting Joe Ryan. She told investigators that earlier that morning, she had been sitting in a car outside the house with a child when she saw a man carrying a bat enter the home. Juliana said she called Christine, who was alone inside. When Christine did not answer, she contacted Brendan, who had already left for work. According to her statement, Brendan returned home quickly. Juliana claimed that when they entered the bedroom, they found Joe Ryan standing over Christine, who was on her knees with a knife held to her throat. She said Brendan shot Ryan in the head with his service weapon and told her to retrieve another gun from a safe. Juliana told police she feared Ryan was still alive and could attack again. She said she fired a second shot that struck Ryan in the chest. Investigators were not convinced. This was when a random invasion or an act of self-defense was unbelievable. As the investigation continued, authorities uncovered evidence that Brendan Banfield and Juliana Peres were involved in a sexual relationship. Police found text messages, photographs of their traveling together inside the home. Records also showed that the two had visited a firing range together weeks before the killings. Brendan later purchased a handgun that prosecutors say was used by Juliana. Prosecutors allege that by late summer of 2022, Brendan had begun expressing a desire to be rid of his wife. Authorities say he created an online profile and a website focused on bondage and roleplay, and began communicating with Joe Ryan. According to court documents, Brendan directed Juliana to pose as Christine and confirm the details of a violent sexual encounter. Prosecutors claim that on the morning of February 24, the plan unfolded. They alleged Brendan waited at the nearby McDonald's while Ryan arrived at the Banfield home. Brendan and Juliana then entered the basement, left the child downstairs, and went upstairs to the second-floor bedroom, Authorities say Brendan announced himself as a police officer before shooting Joe Ryan and stabbing Christine Banfield. Juliana allegedly fired another shot after Ryan showed signs of movement. On October 13, 2023, Juliana was arrested and charged in connection with Joe Ryan's death. On September 16, 2024, prosecutors announced that Brendan Banfield had been indicted. And that's for the murder of both Christine Banfield and Joe Ryan.
Hi, sir. My name is Gina. I'm one of the doctors here. Your wife has died. So sorry.
Juliana pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter and agreed to cooperate with authorities. Friends say Joe Ryan was an unwitting pawn in a much larger and darker plan. And those who knew Christine Banfield said she will be remembered for her compassion, her kindness, and her dedication to helping others. A case that began with trust and secrecy ended in betrayal and irreversible loss. The case finally went to trial in early 2026, and one of the most dramatic moments of the trial was when Juliana took the stand. She had already pleaded guilty to manslaughter in connection with the killings of Joseph Ryan as part of a cooperation agreement with the prosecutors. During her testimony, she told jurors that Banfield had discussed plans to kill his wife and that she eventually decided to cooperate because she wanted the truth to come out. Her testimony became one of the key pieces of evidence linking Banfield to the alleged murder plot. However, the defense attempted to undermine her credibility, arguing she changed her story to receive a lighter sentence.
Is there somebody else there that can give me the address?
13230 Stablebrook Way.
Okay. And what's your name and what's going on?
My name is Brendan Banfield. I'm a federal agent. This is my house. There's somebody here. I shot him. But he stabbed her. She's bleeding. She got several marks on her neck. What do I do?
Okay. So what I need you to do is apply direct pressure directly to where she's bleeding from, okay? And if it becomes soaked, just add more cloth to it. It's already there. How old is the person?
I don't know.
The person that's bleeding?
37.
Okay. Okay, so the person that you shot, where is he?
I don't know. I don't know him.
Okay, where is he though?
He's here. He's on the ground.
Okay. Okay. And the person that he stabbed, where are they now? Are they still in the hospital? I have rescue coming to you.
He's bleeding. It's my wife.
This is what I doesn't know what to do.
Okay. So I want you to get a clean cloth and apply direct pressure to where you're bleeding from, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you the one that's bleeding? Just keep applying pressure. Don't remove it. If it becomes soaked, just add more cloth to what is already there. Do not use a tourniquet. If one is already on, don't remove it. And don't throw or flush any blood-soaked items, okay? And, sir, I need you not to touch the weapons or disturb the scene at all. And don't touch or remove any impaled object, okay? Sir, hello? Ma'am, can you hear me?
Let me.
Okay. Are you the one that was injured?
She's not responding.
Well, one and one. He's living.
Okay. Can you tell me how her breathing is?
I don't. Just how her breathing is.
She's heart's still beating. She's
Okay.
still breathing.
Okay. Just keep applying pressure to where she's bleeding from and just put her on her side, okay?
On her side?
Yeah, on her side. You said she's breathing normally, she's just not responding to you?
She's got a very big hole in her neck.
Oh my God.
Okay. Just keep applying pressure, okay?
Another dramatic moment came when Brendan Banfield took the stand in his own defense. He admitted to having an affair with Juliana, but insisted that prosecutors had misinterpreted the events of the day. According to Banfield, he shot Ryan during the confrontation while trying to protect his family. But prosecutors argued the physical evidence and digital communication between Banfield and Juliana showed the murders were part of a calculated plan. After weeks of testimony, the jury deliberated and returned a verdict.
Thank you. I understand we have a verdict. Are we ready for the jury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder that I cannot tolerate any outbursts in the courtroom at the time of the verdict reading, please. Thank you. All right, and juror number 9, you were the foreperson in this case, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and are these the verdicts of the jury?
Yes, it is.
And are they unanimous?
Yes, it is.
In criminal case number FE 2024-666, count 1, we, the jury on the issue, join in the case of the Commonwealth of Virginia versus Brendan Robert Banfield, defendant, find the defendant guilty of aggravated murder of Joseph Ryan and Christine Banfield as part of the same act or transaction. Case number FE 2024-666, count 4. We, the jury on the issue, joined in the case of the Commonwealth of Virginia versus Brendan Robert Banfield, defendant, find the defendant guilty of aggravated murder of Joseph Ryan within the same 3-year period during which he did also kill and murder Christine Banfield. In case number FE 2024-666, count 5, we, the jury on the issue, joined in the case of the Commonwealth of Virginia versus Brendan Robert Banfield, defendant, find the defendant guilty of using a firearm in the commission of a felony.
In early February 2026, the jury found Brendan Banfield guilty on all charges, including 2 counts of aggravated murder, use of a firearm in a commission of a felony, and child endangerment. The convictions were related to the deaths of both Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan inside the family's home. The verdict marked a major turning point in the case that had drawn widespread attention across the country. Banfield now faces the possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison, with sentences scheduled later in 2026. Shortly after the verdict, Juliana also learned her fate. Because she had pleaded guilty and cooperated with prosecutors, the judge sentenced her to 10 years in prison, the maximum allowed under the plea agreement, along with 2 years of probation after release.
Perez Magalhães, if you could stand up, please. If you could stand up, Ms. Perez Magalhães. Is there anything you wish to say at this time before sentence is imposed?
Yeah, I would like to read a statement. I have caused your pain that cannot be measured and forever changed so many lives. I pray for forgiveness from the Benson family and from Joseph Ryan's family and from Valerie. I will never forgive myself for the pain caused. I hope that my cooperation in this case somehow begin to help repair the damage caused. There is nothing I could possibly do to make it up to you, to your loss. Sorry. There are so many regrets, but this is my biggest. That's it. That's a tragedy I have been carrying with me, and will always do. It's something I have nightmares with. A tragedy I know I can never take back the devastation of what I have done. I know that my remorse cannot bring you peace. I hope you might someday understand that I truly do not believe that his plan would have actually happened. I have grown so much over the past 3 years. I look back at my younger self at 22 years old falling head over heels for someone 15 years older. They only seeing his good side and clinging to someone that showed me love. I lost myself in a relationship, leaving my morals and values behind, and putting even my loved ones through this. My time in jail has been a time of reflection for me to better myself in more ways than I realized I needed. I had to find myself again. That's when I truly found God, when I had lost the desire to live, when I wanted to die. The guilt and feelings that I didn't deserve to live and that I was a monster were overwhelming. In God, I found the forgiveness and mercy, and I am restored. Jail is not a place you can bear to let yourself drown in those feelings. I wanted to disconnect from my pain and the guilt and get into survival mode to stay mentally sane, because inevitably, with the memories come pain. Yet, I know I will live with this for the rest of my life. God and I only know the shame and guilt and sorrow I carry for all I have caused. Sorry for Joe's family and Christine's family. Sorry for Valerie, an innocent little girl who has so much love that will grow without her mother and our father. This I have burden to carry, knowing could have prevented it at all from happening. I understand that I am to blame, and I'm truly sorry for the pain it caused. I hope someday I can be forgiven, as I hope to be able to forgive myself. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right. In this matter, the court does find that the manslaughter charge was a large benefit of your bargain for testifying, which was a huge bargain and a plea deal. You could have been facing life plus 3 years, and now the maximum I can sentence you to today is 10 years. That's clearly a trade for your cooperation with the Commonwealth and what the Commonwealth offered. And you accepted that along with the Commonwealth's recommendation for time served, which is not an agreement, and as you know, not binding on the court, as we discussed at length at your plea. The reduction of the charge is a mitigation. I have watched your interviews and I watched you testify, and I just cannot find any further mitigation factors for your case. You may not have come up with a plan, agreed, and an older man may have groomed you to a point, but I want to list for the record the facts that I cannot equate with accepting a time served recommendation. These are aggravating factors either not fully captured or not reflected in the sentencing guidelines. Number one, until today, you have shown no empathy for the victim in this case. Number two, you were more involved with the plan than you testified to. First off, there were numerous postings on social media platforms and text platforms looking for a target, texting and speaking directly with Joseph Ryan, encouraging him to bring the knife, and ultimately through the phone conversation, getting his consent, knowing all along you were bringing him to his death. Lying to Christine and setting up the plan for the zoo, using her devices and hiding her phone, using a child as a pawn in your plan, waiting outside for Joseph to show up, calling Mr. Banfield to bring him to the scene, and at any point for at least the month prior or that day, you could have stopped this. The plan did not work without your full involvement. Number three, having the loaded firearm in your pocket. Number four, bringing a child into the basement knowing two people were about to be murdered, to include the child's mother. Number five, hearing Christine ask you to call 911, which you did and then immediately hung up. Number six, seeing Joseph Bryan, who was shot in the head at that time, still moving and walking up to him as he lay moaning on the floor and shooting him point blank in the heart. Number seven, watching as Mr. Banfield stabbed Christine over and over again. Number eight, waiting 15 minutes before recalling 911. Number nine, telling a fabricated story for over a year and a half, a story that depicted Joseph Ryan wrongly as a rapist and a murderer, an innocent man. And number 10, telling the child it was okay to call you mommy hours after the murder. Your actions were deliberate, self-serving, and demonstrated a profound disregard for human life. So let's get it straight. You do not deserve anything other than incarceration and a life of reflection on what you have done to the victim and this family. May it weigh heavily on your soul. So today I'm sentencing you on a manslaughter charge because that's what's before me. And the facts of this case demonstrate an intentional and calculated level of violence that is the most serious manslaughter scenario that this court has ever seen. Therefore, I do sentence you to 10 years in the penitentiary as required by Virginia Code 19.2, 295.2. After you've completed your 10-year sentence, I will order an additional 2 years suspended and you will be placed on probation pursuant to Virginia Code 19.2, 303. Since you have been convicted of a felony in Virginia, a sample of your DNA will also be drawn for the state police database. Are there any questions, Mr. Campbell? All right, anything further in this case? No, ma'am. Okay. All right, you're mandated to the custody of the sheriff. I believe that completes the docket. Is that correct? I believe so. Okay. Court will be in recess. All rise.
Prosecutors said her testimony was crucial in helping jurors understand the events that led to the murders. As of 2026, the Banfield case has moved from investigation to conviction. The guilty verdict against Brendan Banfield closed a chapter in the case that involved an affair, an alleged murder plot, and 2 tragic deaths. But for Christine Banfield's family, the legal outcome does not ease the loss. Family members have said they hope the verdict provides some level of accountability and justice for Christine. The Banfield case is a chilling reminder that some of the most disturbing crimes start with secrets that seem small at first but slowly spiral out of control. What began as an affair hidden inside a quiet Virginia household ultimately ended with 2 people dead and a courtroom full of unanswered questions. And while the jury delivers its verdict, one thing remains certain: the truth behind what really happened inside that home will likely be debated for years to come. If you want more real cases like this one, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next story.